morning and welcome to Morning Matters. This morning we popped into Spooners. You know, every so often we pop into Spooners and you never know who you're going to see. This morning we ran into Jim Scott. Most of Belize know who Jim Scott is, but for the ones that don't know who Jim Scott is, he's here to tell us a little bit about himself and help me out with a few matters this morning. And the ones that do know Jim Scott, might be dying to hear what he has to say. Jim, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Rhonda. What a coincidence that we're here together.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Jim, what do you do?
I'm the CEO at the Radisson Fort George, but been in the tourism industry 29 years now in Belize and lived in some of the most beautiful parts of the Jewel. I am very blessed and very happy.
For people that are looking from outside that would want to know one fun fact about Belize, what would you say to them? Or one of your...
Oh man, it's the abundance of cultural and environmental diversity that is second to none in the region of Central America and the Caribbean, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we travel all over the Caribbean and, you know, if you can live, a lot of people have the option to be able to live anywhere in the world. But as I do, and I'm sure yourself do, but I always find myself wanting to be here. If I'm somewhere for 2 months, I'm thinking, gosh, when am I going to get back to Belize? You know, there are lots of nice things out there, but Belize is so special.
True.
It really is a special place. Where are you from originally, Jim?
I'm originally from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, a little village. Belize City is the biggest city I ever lived in. Yes.
And you that state's boy. Well, now you're a true Belizean.
Yeah,
well, this morning we're going to jump in here. We have a few things to discuss. What have you been up to lately? People want to know. You climb a lot, you exercise a lot, you are...
Well, yeah, I just, Joe Gorell and I attempted to run Victoria Peak for the second time in one day.
Wow.
And we're the only ones who have ever done it. But Joe wanted to break his old record of 12 hours and turn it into 10 hours. And unfortunately, the heat, humidity index on the mountain was too high. At around kilometer 19, I started to show the first signs of heat stroke. You know, a little faint and dizziness and weakening and so forth. I was hydrated, I was well fed and everything, but the heat just raised my core body temperature so much and that was the last bit of water on the trail.
Wow.
They just stuck me under a little waterfall and 40 minutes later I was ready to go back home.
Oh, you guys
So we didn't make it.
Okay.
The first time we did.
What was your time for the first time?
12 and a half hours.
For people that don't know how high Victoria Peak is, tell them a little bit about that.
It's not so much the height, it's the actual trek and getting there. First of all, Victoria Peak is in the Coxcomb Basin, Jaguar Reserve, and it's co-managed by the Belize Audubon Society and the government of Belize. It's your stellar international park, you know, the ranger station, visitor center, abundance of trails. The Victoria Peak Trail is a trail that can only be accessed with a local guide. Those trips have to be scheduled well in advance, and it's only open during our dry season. And the elevation of the peak, not necessarily the highest point in Belize, what is it? It's 3,675 feet. But they call it the Coxcomb because it goes up and down and up and down. You're going up and down and up and down to get there. And then, of course, it's beautiful broadleaf tropical rainforest. It's absolutely beautiful. It's normally a 3-day hike, 2 overnights in the bush. So you do 19 kilometers. You do the next 8 kilometers up, 8 kilometers back down to base camp, and then the 3rd day you hike back out. And about 50% of the people who attempt to do it in 3 days actually make it to the summit.
Okay.
Not overly technical except for the last kilometer. If you're afraid of heights, if you have weak upper body because there is a rope, you have to climb up through some of the rocks, it's probably not going to be for everybody. But over the years, I've done it several times hiking and now 2 times running. For those Belizeans and visitors who have kind of read about it, know about it, it's kind of like a rite of passage, you know? It's like one of those things on the bucket list of, I think, the average Belizean who says, I want to try it out, you know? But it requires training, it requires work and discipline. And, you know, the pace doesn't have to be fast. It has to be manageable, but it's tough, man, especially in May and April.
It's hot.
Hot!
It's hot and hard, but guess what? You did it. You did it several times. This time you didn't do it completely.
Didn't make it up. First time I didn't make it to the top.
Okay.
Five times I've done it.
Well done, but you wanted to do it in a day.
Yes.
People do it in 3 days.
Right.
I mean, we know you're strong, Jim. We know you do all sorts of things. You do the lion man. You swim from here to Cuba and back sometimes.
You to say I get old?
Huh?
You're saying I'm getting old?
None at all. You know, look, you know, they're like, you and another guy, I'm not going to mention his name, I swear, from the time I know you, you look the same age. You know, and he's also a cyclist. And he's pretty short, but that is not why he looks young. He just looks young. He works out. Kind of like yourself, you know, you guys are always at it. You know, do you guys
There's
watch?
just so much to do here in Belize, man.
You can't help
You
yourself.
know, life's not a spectator sport, right?
Well, none at all. Well, you know what Morning Matters is about.
You know, I've seen your show many times, and your show and another colleague's show are the two shows I've always said I never wanted to be on. You just have very compelling subjects that not the average individual would want to publicly discuss.
But why, Jim? Because we all live in a society, and we live in our own head. We've had experiences, and I'm sure if you're sitting down behind the camera, you wouldn't mind saying, well, you know, I think you should do this or you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? Because you're a wise man. You couldn't get this far in life without some level of wisdom. And I'll tell you, like I tell one of my friends, he's always saying, well, you know, you say this. I said, look, this prescription mightn't be for everybody, but somebody out there it will fill. So the prescription that is given, you can take it. It mightn't be for you. It might be for your neighbor. It might be for the man down the road. But somebody it will fill. Somebody that's looking will be able to take that pill and use it effectively. Somebody would say, you know, I'm allergic to Tylenol, so I can't take it. She has to come up with something else for me, or I have to go and look at something else, or maybe I have to go and try something else. But it works for somebody. I'm not going to fight you today. We're here to do a little bit of Morning Matters. You know, you answer them if you want, you don't answer them if you want, but I know something else is going on. What did you do about a week and a half ago? Where did you go?
You know, this is what I'd like to do.
What would you like to do?
I'll touch on your intro to the program by saying, and this is my opinion, of course, that Belize is very small. We live in a bubble, and everybody knows one another's business.
Or so they think.
Right, but what they don't know, they make up. I like that scenario. So if I get on here and I open up everything, the mystery's left out. So what I would like to do, Rhonda, and please allow me, because I know I'm your guest and you're such a great host. I've known you so many years.
Yes.
Let's talk about what happened a week and a half ago.
Like what?
At your wedding.
Oh, yes.
I was invited to the quintessential beach wedding,
Yes.
Southern Belize, Placencia Peninsula. And everything that could go right went right. And your smile and your husband's smile, Ian, the entire time, from when we landed till when we met for breakfast the following morning, you were wearing the same clothes. You're wearing the same smile.
Really, Jim?
It was, you know, in tourism, I've done so many weddings. You know, when I've worked in the jungles, when I worked in San Pedro on the Keys, it was the best beach wedding I've ever been to. Now, sure, I knew a lot of people, but let's talk about that wedding.
Well, you'll see.
Don't be shy.
I was going to say,
your wedding.
it is. I have, any of my friends that know me, they know that one thing I don't do is talk about me. I become very quiet. I'm a quiet soul where I am concerned. But we can talk a little bit about the wedding if you so desire.
I do desire.
Yes.
So, it was, you know, when I was sitting there with
With your
our friends,
Yes, with our friends.
you know, the next morning for breakfast, I said, Ian and Rhonda's jaw must be sore. There must be, like athletes get, you know, soreness in their muscles. There must have been lactic acid buildup in their jawbones and muscles because they smiled the entire time. Were you actually physically sore? Was there, you know?
You know, lucky for me that this is almost always how I am. Unless something really bad happens, I frown up. But I don't stay frowned up for a long time. It was really, really a beautiful time, Jim. I have to thank all our friends for coming out. I have to thank all my friends that helped to make that event a very special event for Ian and myself. Our family, I have a friend, Leonardo, he came all the way from New York just for the wedding.
Wow.
He flew in just for the wedding. The next day he was out of here again. So Leonardo, thank you. And all our friends, Lisa, Jolene, Darlene, the whole crew that really, really came together to make our day a special day. Yourself, Javier, people went out of their way to make it to Southern Belize for us, and we really, really are grateful. We have to thank the folks at Shabil Mar. They hosted us for 2 nights. Beautiful place to stay. They allowed us to go and take all our pictures there. So the guys at Shabil Mar, we really, really are grateful for you making this event so special to us.
Yeah.
All right?
Well, I think
You have more
by
for
looking
us?
at the guests who were there, and it's also a tribute to the impact that you've made on Belize, because you have such a broad spectrum of friends, that there were so many people from Placencia who were there. And even though some of us may know you here in the city or following La Ruta Maya or whatever, or these other provocative shows you do, you had so many friends from such a broad spectrum
Yes.
of backgrounds, and that's also a tribute to you. And then Ian had a lot of family who live in the States now and were here for it as well. So, man, that wedding was a melting pot.
Yes.
And that bowl of soup, Matthias, nice one.
I tell you, it really, really was. You know, I tried to be quiet about it. It was small. We couldn't invite everybody. It wasn't like we invited 200 people, but we invited as many people as we could. And we had a great time. We really, really had a great time. So now I am a married woman.
I know.
You know, that's it.
You've got so much to share with people, with the experiences that you'll have now with Ian.
Man, you know, I don't know.
But
I think my core values will remain the same. I
Oh,
think
sure.
that I might see a few things. I might become a little bit more patient. That is the only thing that I think, because now I have somebody else to think about,
sure.
other than just me and what I think and what I want to do. But I think essentially most things will stay the same. People are wondering, where's Drew? Well, Drew is not doing so well right now. He broke his ribs the other day,
Oh no.
and so he's off for a few days. Maybe next week or the following week he should be back in full swing. So he hasn't gone anywhere. People have been asking, what happened to Drew? Drew is healing, and he's healing well. He was doing some work on his building, and he broke his ribs.
Yeah, that's a painful break.
Right.
I've had that happen before.
Yeah, I haven't broken anything other than my heart a few
You don't.
times.
You don't. You don't want to sneeze.
You
You don't want to
laugh?
laugh. You don't want to cough.
Oh yes, he said he didn't want to cough.
You know, but you can smile, and you can frown.
Well, so that's what's happening with me. There you go. Jim,
Well-
you pulled it out of me.
Yes, good. You know, it was so much fun. You know, everybody really wants to hear about the honeymoon, though.
Well, the honeymoon is, you know, and it's difficult for us because especially our life is so much fun. And I don't mean to sound crazy, but you know, we are always traveling. Like, I travel all the time. We always go to fun places. So I'm saying to Ian, where do we go? We went to San Pedro for a few days. We stayed some days in Placencia. We're going to go on a cruise in a short time. But they're all just fun things that we are almost always doing. So I think a lot of time when people say the honeymoon is because they go back to work, except that I have a job that allows for that.
So will you be shooting shows on your trips and
Yes.
Okay.
So it's just like you
You've
might.
got a great job, man.
I think so. So
You know.
wherever we go for honeymoon is where we work from. So it's fun.
Nice.
And we hope that our lives will continue to be one fun place. I think a lot of times when people get married, they feel that I've gotten you now or you've gotten me now, so we can go back and do. No, it's the hardest thing. For me, it is such a huge change because, man, you have to think about somebody else.
Yeah.
Constantly. Their
Constantly.
thoughts, their feelings, their emotions.
I know you're going to do a great job.
I'll give it my best shot.
But you know,
Thank you so much, Jim. On that note, we're going to take a break and come back with some morning matters.
After you pick the place, pick up a great deal at Alamo on all kinds of vehicles for every vacation, because everyone loves a little getaway and big savings. Alamo.
New Buildings Limited is the company of choice when it comes to design, fabricating, and erection of wide-span metal buildings in Belize. At New Buildings, we have a team of well-trained professionals that can produce the most innovative and durable metal structures. Be it domestic or industrial buildings, we can get it done for you. We have put together some of the most outstanding metal structures in the country. We also do estimates and consulting. Visit New Buildings in Spanish Lookout or give them a call at 631-8723 or 610-5185. New Buildings Limited, the experts when it comes to metal structures in Belize.
Whichever suits you better. Grace coconut milk is your best choice for taste. Good as homemade, only more convenient.
Grace, bringing good taste to life.
With the high cost of fuel these days, every fill-up can be a curiously scary experience. Rising gas prices have transformed to the point where it feels like it can cost you the shirt off your back. That's why we created Lucas fuel-saving motor oils. Their special additives increase compression and minimize friction, improving fuel mileage. With Lucas, you'll keep from losing your shirt, or even worse.
To Morning Matters right here from Spooner's Cafe in Belize City. Well, you know, just now Jim kind of roughed me up. I expected him to do a Little Matters, but as opposed to doing a Little Matters, he got into a little bit of my business. That's just like Jim. I tell you, the next time I get him, I will get him good. He is my friend. He can do that. I've now been joined by my husband, Ian. A lot of you might have remembered Ian from the show a few times, but then he was just my fiance. Now he's my husband. Ian, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Rhonda. How are you?
I am well. Well, just let you know, the audience know, that him being my husband does not change the way I operate on this show with him. I will still be as hard as I can be. I will still deal with the matters the same way I do. Because when he's on here, he is my guest.
Fair game.
Yes. After this, he becomes my husband again, right, Ian?
Yes, boss.
So how have you been?
I've been okay. Enjoying the weather, enjoying my time in Belize.
All right. Any matters of your own?
Of course not.
You're smart. You're starting off on the right foot. You know exactly what to say. All right. Well, I have to, if this is the first time you're looking at Morning Matters, let me remind you the number is on the screen. You can also email your matters to us at morningmatters@gmail.com. I ask you to like us on Facebook. The page is called Morning Matters Belize. And coming soon, we will have a stream 24 hours where you'll be able to look at Morning Matters as well as other shows. You need to monitor us on Facebook for more information on that. All right. So no matters.
No matters at this point.
You're sure?
I'm positive.
You know, when we're not on Morning Matters, you have all these great ideas and all these matters you say you're going to talk about. And as soon as these cameras come on, it's like a third person watching you.
Yeah, that's because
or 5 million 5 million people watching you, and that really shake you up?
No. Well, these cameras are a little bit more intimidating than my iPhone. When we're driving along and I have the iPhone going on, and you know, we're spending our time, so that's good. But we're here, you know, we're here to help people that's sending messages in.
All right. First, let me apologize for the delay. The reruns, we've been off for a while. Like I said earlier in the show, Drew has suffered a little injury. So he's been missing, and then I've been on my own trying to get my own personal stuff going. But all that is behind us now. Drew has healed, or is healing well.
Is healing.
And he'll be back as soon as he can be. While Ian is here, I get to make the most of his company as well. So that's just how it is. Having said that and gotten that all out of the way, it's now time to jump into the matters. And since Ian has no matters, I never have any matters. It's time for morning matters. My woman don't want to have sex with me. Is that a sign that she's not in love with me?
You want me to respond to that?
That's what you're here for.
Well, the first thing I would do if I were that guy was I would actually try to inquire what the issue is. You know, maybe she won't tell him directly, but he might need to investigate his own actions or lack of actions.
You know, and every time somebody says this, I have a similar response, and it goes something like this. Women, like men, are not horses. You just can't tie them up one day and jump on them the next. We need to be, we're human beings, and we need to be caressed and warmed up and said nice things. You can't be hugging me up in the morning and want to jump my bones in the evening. Sure. Or you can't be hugging me up this minute and want to jump my bones later. You know, especially for women, sex is not, or for most women, it's not just about the act of having sex. It's about the love making and the caressing and the sharing and all of that. And maybe why she's not wanting, one of the reasons could be, is that your approach has changed. It could be that your approach has changed. It could be that you've said things that offended her, maybe not now, but before, that she is still hurting from. So, like Ian said, the first thing I would do is check myself. And then if nothing has changed in your area, maybe something has changed with her, maybe she's under a lot of stress, maybe she's switched her jobs, maybe she's having trouble with the children. I mean, I wouldn't go to the point that she's not in love with you. That would be my last thing, because sex has very little to do with love. Love has very little to do with sex. One does not say yes or nay about the other one. You know, not because I'm having sex with you means I love you. Not because I'm not having sex with you means I don't love you. There's many other things that could be happening that could prevent a person from wanting to have sex. Hormones. Depending on how old she is, she might be approaching menopause, and that really throws some people off. So I'd say think about all the other possibilities, examine yourself, have open discussions with her, and then go from there.
You know, I would say this, just kind of off the topic a little bit. A lot of times you read these texts, and it's so broad. You know what I mean? If they can text in a little bit more information, we might be able to help a little bit more.
All right. Morning. I was in a relationship for 5 years, 2 kids, and about 6 months ago, my baby mom walked out on me. And now she wants me back. What advice can you give me? You're in a relationship for 5 years. In the 5 years, you had 2 children. And 6 months ago, she walked out, and now she wants you back. I would say, why did she walk out? Because a lot of time when people walk out, that is not, it's not I wake up this morning and I'm tired of you and I'm leaving you this minute. It's a lot of things that have built up over the time that make people walk out. So if somebody was to walk out on me today, in my mind, and they want me back 6 months later, I wouldn't take them back for many reasons. But one of the biggest reasons would be that if we have not established why you walked out, then the possibility is that you can walk out again.
Exactly.
And I don't believe that our relationships should be treated like bar doors, you know, those old Western bar doors where you just in and out and in and out. There's no real lock to it. You come in as you want and you go out as you want. That is not how you should treat your relationship. And I feel that when somebody walks out of the relationship, that is the last straw. In my personal opinion, I find that very
it's very disrespectful.
I find it very final when the person walks out, because then I would imagine that they have tried their best to try and stay, and something was greater than their will that caused them to go. I wouldn't take her back. I would open communication with her. I would find out why she left. I would find out how we can make amends for the betterment of the children if needs be. But I don't know that I would take her back. And if I do, it wouldn't be now. It would be over a period of time to give her the opportunity to create new history.
That makes sense. That makes sense. You can't just, like you said, it can't just be a bar door situation where she leaves and then come back when she wants to. She finds out that, like they say, the grass isn't green on the other side. You know, what has she been doing in the last 6 months?
None of your business.
You know,
she gone.
No, I understand that. I understand that, but I mean, did she start another relationship out there? And you know, making new history with somebody else, and now that hasn't worked out. So now she wants to come back.
No matter
You know?
why I want to come back, I will try to figure out why I left for in the first place. Morning. For 9 months I live a lie. I met a man on Facebook and he sold me the world. I visited him and he came to me. And I lost my job when he went to work in the city and found out that he had 2 women there and they knew of me. He says that he loves me and he can change. But they tell me when I am not there, he's sleeping with them. What am I to do? I love him.
Does she really love him, or she loves the idea of this guy? Because if she lost her job, was it based on the relationship she had with this person, or she feels like now that she's lost her job, she needs to depend on him?
No, she's saying, I think what she's saying is that she has invested so much in him that she ended up losing her job because she was chasing behind him and following behind him and all of that because of the stories that he told.
Well, that's a bad, that's bad anyway. Any way you look at it, that's a bad situation. I mean, if you meet someone and you start a relationship with them, there's no way that relationship should cause you to lose your job.
Unless you are irresponsible from the beginning. It is not him that made you lose your job. It is the choices that you made that made you lose your job. So you can't blame him for losing your job. That is the bottom line. If I meet Tom Jones on wherever I meet him and I decide that I will neglect my job and I will pursue Tom Jones at the risk of losing my own self and my job or my business, then that is not on Tom Jones, that is on me.
Let me say this, Rhonda. I mean, I'm a man, right? And you don't know what these men are telling these women. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And guess what? You know, a lot of these women could be falling for this guy in such a way that yes, it's her job. Yes, it's her responsibility to keep that job. But this guy could have been feeding her a bunch of, you know, mess, and she ate it up. And then she lost her job because of chasing this guy, and then she realized it's not really worth it because the guy had other women around the city.
But what I'm saying is, and I always say this, lots of things happen to people in their lives, right?
True.
And a lot of time we blame everybody else. If the guy lied, you should have your own discretion. You have to use it. So if you come to me, Ian, and you say, you know, Rhonda, I don't want you to move to LA, and I have this great mansion, and whatever nonsense you tell me, right? As a random man that I meet, right? You post these great pictures on Facebook of you sailing and yachting and all of this craziness, right? And I say, oh my goodness, it looked like Ian really telling the truth. It is my responsibility to myself to act accordingly. Not get crazy now because none of this has been proven. I need to go and check this dude out. If he has so much money and he have time, let him send me a ticket. I'll spend the weekend there. I'll see what's happening. I'm not leaving my job, going to LA, borrowing money from my mother to buy no plane ticket to go see him. This girl did a lot of negligent things to herself.
Agreed.
And in doing so, she made some choices that affected her. I'm saying this to say that everybody, when you meet a man or a woman, wherever they are, you trust but verify. Because this is a real world we live in. Now, no matter what the other girls them saying, the question is this the kind of man you want to be with? And don't tell me you love him. Because if you can love a man that lie and cheat and scheme on you, then you don't have the concept of love as to what it should be. So leave this man alone, find yourself back again, strengthen yourself, and one day someone that is deserving of a good person will bump into you and take you for what you really are. For now, let him go. He's not worth your hassle. I don't understand. Maybe it is that I don't understand love the way the rest of the world understand love. But
I think you understand it.
No, I know I understand love, but I have to say that I don't understand how somebody can come to me and say, well, you know, I love him. He beat me, he cheat, he lie, he make pick me out there, he do the world to me. And I love him. You have to love you. The quickest way to become dysfunctional is to lose yourself by chasing something that is not worth your time. If you love you and the person that you are with love you and you love him, then it's a beautiful relationship. There has to be reciprocity in any relationship. If there is no reciprocity, it doesn't make sense. If I love he love he and nobody love me, including me, it's not worth it.
Agreed.
That's
agreed.
my rant for the day.
I agree.
How long should you be in a relationship before you start having sex? I'll let you go first, Mr. Ian.
Well, you know, I'm no professional on when you should become intimate at that level. One of the things I don't understand is why people believe that you have to get into that level of intimacy just like that. You know what I mean? You need to get to know each other. You need to really get to know each other. And I believe, speaking from a man's perspective, that, you know, nowadays, I guess a lot of women feel like they have to initiate this part of intimacy. Me personally, you know, intimacy is way different than just that physical sex. You know, getting to know someone, spending time with them, you know, it depends on the situation.
I say everything is depending on your beliefs and your values. It depends on what you want from the relationship. If you want the relationship to last, don't give this boy the sex or don't give the girl the sex. I'll tell you why. Because sex changes things.
It does.
Sex changes everything. That is why it is recommended that you don't have sex until you're married. But we live in a real world, and for a lot of people, that is not practical. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, only you can decide that for you. But what I would recommend is that if you want a true meaningful relationship with anybody, leave the sex for the last. Because once the sex is like a blinder, take it from me. I live long enough, I've done enough things to be able to tell you this. Now once you start sharing that part of yourself with somebody, I don't know what it is about it, but it makes you see things differently. And a lot of things that you would not necessarily tolerate, you start overlooking. Because now your focus has been shifted. Quite unfortunate. I always say this, that sex is the prize. It's like Mr. Rempel said the other day, you don't show up at the beginning of the month and they don't give you your pay with the hope you'll work for the whole month.
Exactly.
At the end of the month, depending on how many days you work, that's what you get paid for.
Exactly.
And that is how you should treat sex. There's lots more things to do. The dating, the talking, the getting to know, the see if this person is the kind of person you want to be with. So many more things other than the physical sex. And once you have established those things, then depending on where you are, perhaps you can move into that. Other than that, you can leave it alone. Sex is not a must. You live from 0 to 18 or 0 to 25 and some of you 0 to 40 without sex and you're not dead. You can hold on a little bit longer.
Yeah.
This thing now was spoiled.
Yeah. And I'll say this to the women out there, don't ever feel like it's your obligation to share yourself or the sexual part of you, you know, in a rush. Because it really is the perfect test of the man if you will hold off on it, really and truly. Because then you'll, you know, if the guy wants to be intimate with you and on a sexual level, and you politely, you know, hold off
or aggressively say, boy, arrest yourself.
Yeah, you know. But if you do it, if you're a lady and you just decide, you know what, just let's hold off for a little while, let's get to know each other more. Guess what? If it's a decent guy, he'll be okay with that. Yeah. If a guy that just wants to jump your bones, you'll really start seeing the real part of him. And then you won't be in this situation where, you know, you're sending messages or texting saying, hey, I've been with this guy and, you know, I'm intimate with him and he hasn't called me in like 3 weeks.
But I'll tell you one more thing. Sex no guarantee nothing other than sex. Nothing
True.
as a woman because you giving a brother sex mean he stayed, mean he committed, mean nothing.
That's
For
true.
him that mean he had a good time for the next whatever amount of time that lasted and he can push on. So not give sex hoping to have love.
Exactly.
Sex and love, they're not two separate things and you need to see them for what it is. Good morning, Rhonda. I left my woman for almost 8 months. She want me back. But I live with someone else that I'm in love with. What am I supposed to do? Keep on pushing?
Keep on going.
That's
the easy one.
Quite unfortunate, but that's how it is. You know, it is like walking on the road and somebody says, Mary Jane, you know I love you long time and this is why I love you and la la la. That not compel Mary Jane for fall in love with you, know. Mary Jane must say one thing, thank you, and keep on moving, because not because you in love with me mean I have to be in love with you.
Exactly.
Not because you decide to do something nice for me mean I have to do it back to you. So if somebody is in love with you and you are not in love with them, the best thing you can do for them is to leave them alone.
Yeah.
Because that will give you your truest life and will give them the possibility of finding someone that really loves them the way they deserve to be loved.
True.
I live with a man for 6 years. I have a baby for him. And now he still live with at my mom's house and have someone else out there. What should I do? I need some advice. I think what you're saying is that you live with this man for 6 years and you all live in your mother's house, including the man, and he have a baby out there. What are you supposed to do? Stop make your mother paying for you and this crazy tribe.
Yeah, yeah. First things first, she got to get rid of that guy.
He gone. You have to let him go. You living under your mother's roof. Your man living under your mother's roof. He go sleep under somebody else's roof and bring a child home. It's craziness.
Yeah. That's definitely, that's pretty clear cut.
I have a question. Why do you think, and I have to put it on the women today, why do you think that so many women feel that they must settle for these half-her brothers out here just to say they have a man? Why?
I have no idea. I have no, and the funny thing is, for her to be living under her parents' roof, well, maybe the parents, if she can't put the guy out, maybe the parents need to put the guy out.
That's not your mother's job.
No, but I mean, if you really think about it, the guy already went out there, made another child, and he's still coming home to her.
Because she allowing it.
I understand. Well, then maybe the parents need to put everybody out.
There you go. There you go.
You know?
All I need to find an own door key and charge for enter this circle. So we need to be more responsible for ourselves and the children that we're bringing into this world. You have a child with this man. Is this the kind of example you want to set for your child? If you keep on pushing, guess what will happen? You won't be pregnant again. And you will have 2 children and he have a next child out there. Before you know it, he'll be in crazy circles. He living the life he wants. Is this the life you want?
Yeah, I was just going to say, make sure you don't have any more. At least not for him.
There you go. I am scared of getting married because my mother's marriage only lasted 7 years and I don't want the same thing to happen to me. What am I to do?
First thing, there's no way that you should look at your parents' marriage or your mother's marriage just lasting 7 years and feel like that's going to happen to you. That is not the way to live life at all. What you should do is maybe have a conversation with your mom and find out, what went wrong. Find out what went wrong and try your best to not repeat those things. I mean, we don't have to go out there and make the same mistakes that our friends or family or other loved ones have made. It's good to find out the mistakes that they made and make sure you don't repeat them. Avoid them at all costs,
Everybody is responsible for the choice that they make in their lives. I don't even know if I should say if it's fortunate or unfortunate that your mother's marriage only lasted 7 years. Maybe it only lasted 7 years because that is how it was designed. We all want something that sometimes is not designed for us. That is just the fact. Sometimes we make the wrong choice, we choose the wrong people, and if it had lasted 20 years, maybe she would have been in misery for 20 years. Maybe somebody decided to leave the marriage because they didn't want to continue to live a lie. So there is always some good in everything. You have to find the good that came out of your mother's divorce.
Yeah.
You are not your mother, and your future husband is not your father or your stepfather, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Like Ian says, I would say make sure that when you choose wisely. Don't choose based on emotions. Don't choose based on a feeling. And I can't emphasize that enough, because a lot of time people choose their spouse or choose to get into a relationship based solely on a feeling. He makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good when I'm with him. I feel this way. Yes, feeling is important, but you have to be practical. Do you have the same value system? Is he respectful? Are you respectful? Do we want the same things out of life? Are we on the same path? Are we mature the same way? There's so many other things that you have to look at other than feelings.
Yeah.
Or don't choose him because he's handsome and he drives a nice car, because those things are temporary. The same way he handsome and drive a nice car, tomorrow, God forbid, he could go out there and knock out all his teeth and lose his job. So now he not handsome anymore and he don't got no fast car. Do you still love him? But if he had a good soul and good values and good morals and a good being, you will always love him. So choose, when you choose your life partner, I say, it is one of the biggest decisions that you will make. Choose it wisely. Don't be in a rush. Don't be hasty. Don't do it because all the neighbors them have man or all the neighbors them have woman or all my friends them married now and I'm the only single one. Don't feel those pressures. Choose it because it is good for you based on facts and not feeling alone.
Exactly.
On that note, we're going to take a break and be back.
After you pick the place, pick up a great deal at Alamo on all kinds of vehicles for every vacation, because everyone loves a little getaway and big savings. Alamo.
New Buildings Limited is the company of choice when it comes to design, fabricating and erection of wide-span metal buildings in Belize. At New Buildings, we have a team of well-trained professionals that can produce the most innovative and durable metal structures. Be it domestic or industrial buildings, we can get it done for you. We have put together some of the most outstanding metal structures in the country. We also do estimates and consulting. Visit New Buildings in Spanish Lookout or give them a call at 631-8723 or 610-5185. New Buildings Limited, the experts when it comes to metal structures in Belize.
With the high cost of fuel these days, every fill-up can be a curiously scary experience. Rising gas prices have transformed to the point where it feels like it can cost you the shirt off your back. That's why we created Lucas fuel-saving motor oils. Their special additives increase compression and minimize friction, improving fuel mileage. With Lucas, you'll keep from losing your shirt, or even worse.
Aeropost is now making shopping easier and much more convenient. You can now shop from the comfort of your own home and have your goods delivered to you with no additional cost in as little as 7 working days. No credit card? No problem. Come on down to our office at number 1 Mott Street in Belize City and we will assist you with your shopping. No order too small or large for us to ship. Be it cell phone, TV, jewelry, shoes or clothing, we have exactly what you're looking for. At Aeropost, your favorite shopping spot is only 1 click away. Aeropost, you shop, we ship, we deliver. Give us a call at 223-4349 or visit us at number 1 Mott Street in Belize City.
Welcome back to Morning Matters right here from Spooners in Belize City. It's a beautiful morning, you know.
Yes, it is.
How you doing there?
I'm doing good. I'm good. I'm enjoying the scenery right here, you know, across the river from the old fish market.
Boy.
Swing Bridge.
Did you call this fish market old?
No. The old building. It was. You
Oh,
know what?
I was just
Actually,
going to tease you now. I said, this is not an old building, you know. You only look that way.
Actually, I think the old fish market had much more character than this one.
I'm too young to remember that.
Yeah, right. You know, I will say this. I have some family friends that live in Chicago right now, and the dad was kind of like another dad of mine. You know, Douglas Robinson. He was a well-known fisherman in Belize, and he used to have his boat docked up right over here, Magzi R. So yeah, they're in Chicago. Hello, everyone. If you guys have an opportunity to see the show.
Time for another matter.
Yes.
Good morning. I have this man for 9 years. I have 4 children. I stay home and do housework. I take care of the children. In the past, he cheated with me a lot of times. He's accusing me that I am cheating and disrespecting me, calling me the B word and W. He's now starting to put his hands on me, even in public. He doesn't want me to associate with anybody. Because male friends I talk to, he accused me that I'm sleeping with them. And I'm not sleeping around. We had a lot of fights, and I don't feel for him like I did before. Because also he's hitting me. What am I to do?
Well, I understand completely why she doesn't feel the way she once felt for him, because he's now physically abusing her. First it was, you know, emotional abuse and all that. He was cheating, continued to cheat. She's a homemaker, taking care of these kids, taking care of the home. And my personal belief is that he is becoming insecure and more insecure because he's the one out there doing stuff. So now, you know, he wants to accuse her to make her feel guilty.
I have a question for you. Is this the life you want? If it's not the life you want, then make changes that will get you to the place where you want to be, to get the life that you want. Nobody should be beating you. Nobody should be abusing you, no matter what it is that you do. You have contributed to your home for 9 years. You have the same rights. I don't know if you're married legally or not, but you have the same rights as if you were married. No matter if this man shares the same roof with you or not, he has to take care of his responsibility, which is you and those 4 children. I would let him go. If he is not willing to change his ways, then he has to go, because everybody deserves to be happy.
Yes.
And our happiness does not come from outside, it comes from within. And we must place ourselves in a position where we are happy. This is not bringing you happiness. This is not a good example for your children. This is too much stress and pressure for your life. I'd let him go. I'd let him go live the life that he wants to live, so you can live the life that you want to live. You need to be free. You're not a caged bird.
Or so she could just have some peace.
Some peace.
Yeah.
So you gotta let him go. You gotta let him go and
find yourself.
And find yourself. You're not letting him go for another man. You're letting him go because he's not good for you. And I mean, if you want to try and counsel it, and if he wants to try and counsel it, then do so first. But if he doesn't want to counsel it, he doesn't want to make better, he doesn't want to make changes, then you have to let him go, because you have to survive.
Yeah. And you have to be there for your children.
Exactly. Recently, I found out that my best friend from childhood is sleeping with my father. She practically lives with us. Should I tell my mother and stop being her friend? I'm confused what to do.
Of course you should tell your mom. But one of the things I think you should do is really confront your friend. You know? I would put it all out there.
You know, I would be sure that my speculations are facts first.
Well, it sounds like she said that.
Cruffy, we da cruffy. Yeah. People make up things in their head based on their assumption, and then the facts for them. So let's be clear and sure.
Okay.
The first thing I would do is I would speak with my father about my suspicions.
Okay.
Because I sure you not sit and sleep together. I sure you under the suspect based on things that you might see.
And when your past slap you, then what?
That can be a problem. But no, my mother would be the last person I discuss this with.
Of course, because you have to be sure that that's what's going on.
I would have a discussion with my father. I will then have a discussion with my friend. Based on that, those discussions would decide how I go. But the next thing that I would do is recommend that my friend no longer stays and comes around our home. Right? So I would try those ways first, depending on what the answer, because your father might say yes. Your friend might say yes. And then if then 2 say yes, or one of them say yes, then yes. So that's how I would have deal with that. I would have asked more questions and go and spread more rumors. That's how I would have deal with that. Moving right along. I live with my baby dad, but I so in love with his cousin. He makes me feel so good by complimenting me every day, and we want to be together, but I'm afraid what people would say.
You know, that's such a sad situation, because why is she claiming to be in love with the cousin, is it? The cousin. Number one, you might be going through a little struggle with the person that you're in a relationship right now. But what you think is going to happen if you decide to pursue a relationship with your current boyfriend's cousin? I mean, that's such a sad situation. It speaks a lot about you for one, and most of all, it speaks a lot about the cousin of your boyfriend right now, because that relationship would be doomed.
I say that Sometimes our relationship are lacking something. Most relationships are 80-20, maybe 70-30, maybe 90-10. It's never 100%. So the guy on the outside, if it's your boyfriend's cousin or the neighbor or the bus driver or the taxi man or somebody else's husband, not because a man compliments you means he wants to be with you. So the man might say nice things innocently. He might say, so there are some genuine people that are just nice. You don't tell me he chat you up, you say he compliment you. He say, that's what he does, he compliments people. You say that both of you want to be together, that means that you've gone more than complimenting. That means you're going to have some inappropriate discussion. I would say, leave that alone. Leave that cousin alone, because as soon as you, I don't know if the cousin have a man, or I mean have a woman, but if the cousin have a woman and you are the girl on the side right now, you have to realize where you start your relationship. If you start your relationship in a lie, most of the time it ends up in a lie. Right? And you are living a lie if you leave your man for anybody, no matter if it's the cousin or whoever, especially if your man is doing the best job that he can do.
Exactly.
If you have issues with your man, talk to your man. Say, baby, this is what I want from you. This is what would make me feel better. But you know the best way to get a compliment?
Which way?
Give a compliment. Maybe you are not complimenting your man. If I wake up and I say to my husband, babe, you look good today, naturally he will say something good back at me. So he might not say something good to me all day. Maybe it's not in his nature, but now I have to train him how to treat me. So I have to, if it's compliments I want, I can't ask him for a compliment. I can, but that is not the most effective way to get one compliment. The most effective way to get one compliment is to compliment him. The most effective way to get niceness from your spouse is to give niceness. So a lot of time we're out here fighting up and railing up. My husband doesn't say nothing nice to me. My wife doesn't say nothing nice to me. When was the last time you said something nice to them?
Exactly.
Treat people the way you want to be treated, and most of the time you will get it back. Leave that cousin alone. He fishing. When he don't catch you, he put you on land, you die, he finds somebody else. It's just like any other fish out there.
I will say this too. You know, these type of situation, whether it's the cousin or whether it's the guy down the street, like you said, I can bet, and you know I'm not a betting man. If I always say, if I'm willing to bet you, that means I know I'm a win, so don't bet me. But I'm willing to bet that she has been talking to this cousin, you know, sharing personal business regarding, you know, her relationship. And, you know, it's a sad thing, and it's an easy thing for the cousin, because he already know, you already told him everything that's wrong, so he know everything to do that's right.
For now.
That's what I was going to say, for now, right? But guaranteed, if you start a relationship with him or anybody else that you told your personal business to, the time is going to come when you guys are going to start, you know, battling each other, and I guarantee it, as God is my witness, that same guy going to throw that same stuff back in your face and say, well, I don't know where you to go on boat, because I don't take you for your man and this and that, and you not right for me anyway. It's going to happen.
I wouldn't bother with him, none at all. I'd leave him alone. And for anybody else, I'd say pay attention to the relationship that you are in. Give it your all. Most of the time when you pay attention to where you are, you will grow it quicker than forgetting it and starting something else, especially when nothing is really wrong.
Exactly.
Morning, I'm a faithful husband and I don't cheat on my wife. But she told me one day to come out of the house because she needs to talk to me. Come to find out, it's because she wants space. Now she wants me to move out the house. How do I handle this?
She said to come out the house because she wants to talk to you?
Well,
and then
I guess he called her out of the house first, and then afterwards they said to her that he want him to go away because she wants space. He sent many texts, one of them saying that they are both Christians and la la la. Now give me the Christian story.
Okay.
I don't mean to sound crazy, but don't, you know, a lot of time people use I'm a Christian or I'm a this, I'm a that as their shelter.
Let's address the Christian story. I mean, okay, that's their reality. They're Christians, right? They claim to be Christians. Well, in the Bible it says that a wife and a husband shouldn't be apart for more time than they agree, number one. And it shouldn't be apart for more time than they agree to be apart for. They should separate, like they can separate the prey, or what they agree on, right? But if they're you know, if they're in a relationship and one person is talking about I need space, that's not a small thing. That's major stuff right there. You know, it's like in the States they say, hey, you know what? Whenever you see, you know, this lady or this guy, all of a sudden he starts to go to the gym and she starts working out and all that. Watch out, you're in trouble. You know, so they got to get to the bottom of what's really going on, what the issue is in their relationship that's leading them down that part to be apart.
I say if I had a spouse that I cared about and he came to me and said, honey, I need space. First of all, if we were having a functioning relationship for the past year or 10 years, whatever the case is, I would know that something was wrong because we're not fools.
Exactly.
But what I would recommend is counseling. I would not recommend that you leave the home. I would not recommend that she leaves the home because that is the end. That is the beginning of the end of your relationship.
Exactly.
I mean, if I have, you know, we can live with anything that we train ourselves to live with.
Exactly.
And by leaving the home, you are training yourself. You're weaning yourself away from your spouse.
Exactly.
And nobody that wants to be in a relationship with somebody should start to wean themselves away. So I would say that if you want to be in a relationship with your wife, then seek counseling. Seek the professional help because you can't fix it and I can't fix it. God can fix it. Yes, I believe firmly that God can fix it. But he sends helpers and sometimes they're called counselors.
Yeah, and you know, the truth of the matter is you have to, as a man or as the person that's being asked to leave, you have to ask like direct questions. I mean, what is the purpose of this? Do you want this marriage to work? Because nobody's separate to work on a marriage. You know?
I agree.
You can't call off a figure work. You know what I mean? You have to be in the trenches. Yeah, you have to be in the trenches working at this thing. You know, marriage is not a fairy tale. Marriage is real life.
Well, guys, it's been fun. It's been interesting. We're winding down now. Until next time, we encourage you to take care of yourselves and each other. This is Rhonda, Crichton, Gentle. Yeah, there you go. Along with
Ian Gentle.
Say goodbye.
Take care.
Gonna be my wife, and I was gonna be